A very good evening to our viewers. Thank you for joining us tonight on the evening review. My name is Debunking, your host. Tonight, for the first time on the platform, we host Jerry Ekandjo. He is a Swapo member of parliament. He is a former Central Committee member of the party, Politburo member of the party, and also a stalwart, if you like, of the ruling party. Mr. Ekandjo has been vocal about some issues going on in the party, and we invited him to the platform to help us understand some of his views. Thank you very much, Honorable, for making time.
Thank you.
Yeah, the issue, I mean, we've been reading papers and you've been very vocal and very direct insofar as the application of the Swapo Constitution is concerned, as it relates to the Swapo Extraordinary Congress that is slated for this weekend. If you can give us a sense of what your issue is regarding this gathering.
Thank you very much. What I have today, where I'm going to explain, to elaborate on the 2020 amended Swapo Party Constitution. 2020 amended Swapo Constitution.
So there was an amendment to the Swapo Constitution in 2020?
Yeah, and this was adopted by the visual 2020 Extraordinary Congress. There was an extraordinary Congress, visually through TV and whatever.
Online, basically.
Online, I can put it that way, that approved this constitution. So my talking is based on this 2020 amended constitution. And also what I want to make clear is that my coming here, I want to make it categorically clear, especially when it comes to media housing, electronic and otherwise. And also those people who call themselves political analysts. My message to them, or what I want to make it clear, is that whenever what I've observed, whenever a person is criticizing something, if you see something is wrong, and you criticize it and say, this is wrong, it must be this way. Then they said, no, you are criticizing because you want a position, or you fail, you want a position. That is what I said. And I'm not for that. My pinpointing the violation of the Constitution is the right enshrined in the Swapo Party Constitution that each member has to defend the Constitution. So I want to make it clear that because in most cases, especially the political analysts, when they write after there is something and they comment and they say, such and such a person is just, he just want to, it's because he failed or he is not in that position or he is campaigning. No. As a result of their comments, many people are afraid to come forward and pinpoint because they are afraid of being accused of wanting a position. So it must be clear. So my pinpointing that this is the right person, this is wrong, it's not to say that I want a position. I want to make it categorically clear. I want to make it categorically clear that because I've been in the leadership of the party for more than 50 years, before and after
independence.
And I have been also a member of the Central Committee here at home before independence. We had a Central Committee here at home. So I've been part and parcel of the Swapo leadership here at home for more than 30 years before independence also. I cannot say 30 years, but maybe for more than 20 years. 20 years. Since I joined the party in 1969. That same year I was a chairman of the Walvis Bay branch, and since then I've been in the leadership of the party until 2017,
Yeah.
from 1969. So my pinpointing is based on that. All the various amended Swapo party constitution until the latest of 2020, I've been part of it.
Okay.
I know the ins and the outs. And that is the constitution that keep us together
Yeah.
throughout those years, even in the difficult years. During the time of the fight of the independence, those who were at the home front and those who were in exile, some were at the front fighting the enemy. Yeah. Others were scholars, others were students, others were Swapo ambassadors, others were diplomats, others were here at home. It is because of this constitution that keep us together. Even those people who were fighting, sacrificing their lives. Some of the plant fighters spent more than 23 years at the front, not fighting to get money or bait, just because of the belief that this constitution is the savior. This constitution. And those who were at the home front because of this, yes, once you have a constitution, you are shocked. You are shocked, they electrify you just because of the constitutions.
Yeah.
And we believe in it. Some people disappeared just because they were found in possession of the Swapo constitution. So that's why for us, the constitution is a holy Bible of Swapo.
Yeah.
Is the holy Bible. So this also means that if, for instance, the bishop of any church or the pope of any church preach in front of the church congregation, and then that bishop started to violate the Bible,
Yeah.
you will see the reaction from the members of that particular church. Also, beside the bishop, beside the pope, all the different churches, they are popes or whatever. If you preach and the Bible says this, and the pastor stood up and said, listen, don't face this. We must put this cross upside down. Just put the cross upside down in the church. Not only the members who are present, even the members of the church,
Yeah.
who sleep under the bridges, those poor people in the riverbed, if they hear that their bishop or pastor has said that church, the cross must be put in the church upside down, you will see from those people how they react.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although they don't go to the, but as long as they are church members. Ne? So the same also applies to Swapo.
Absolutely.
So that's why I'm serious with this, because I'm going to prove
Yeah.
the violation of the Swapo party by the current Central Committee members. Altogether, there are 101. 101 Swapo members who are members of the Central Committee. And they represent the more than 300,000 members of Swapo.
Yeah.
Those who are vocal, those who are not vocal. Some of them are card-carrying members, Swapo card-carrying members, but they are at the home. You don't even know that they are members of Swapo. They represent us. So immediately, you start violating what the party constitution said. No.
Yeah. Let's get into that. So what happened? Okay.
Yeah,
so,
let me just come to that now.
Yeah,
You see, the Swapo party constitution is the supreme.
Yeah.
Let me just put it this way. Is the supreme, the Swapo party constitution. Let me start with page 1011.
Yeah.
Article 10. Rights, obligation and duties of members. Article 10(1)(a) reads, a member of Swapo party has a right to demand the fulfillment of what is established in this Constitution, as well as the implementation of resolutions, decisions, directives, and agreements of the party. To demand the fulfillment of what is established in this Constitution. And it goes further, I said, Article 10(1)(j), to promote and exercise criticism without fear and self-criticism. That's what I'm always practicing. Self-criticism with a view to overcoming any defect, errors, or deviation of the party. Understand? Mine is based on the decision to hold the extraordinary Congress without following the right procedure.
Okay. What are those procedures?
Yeah. The right procedures, for instance, here the Swapo party rules and procedures for election of party office bearers. Let me come to party office bearers. Here, for instance, this book, this Swapo party rules was adopted 2013.
Okay.
At the Swapo party extraordinary congress in Swakopmund.
And those were the last.
And then it was later amended.
Okay.
But the amended one is not the whole in 2014. The amended one was just because this one said when we must now practice zebra. It means for every position, starting from section secretaries up to the regional executive, district, regional, from sections, branches, district, regional leadership, up to the national leaders, including the top four. They must be zebra-based.
Yeah.
This one talk of there must be 3 candidates for each position.
Yeah.
Either 2 male and 1 female, or 1 male and 2 female, or 1 female, 2 males. But later it was amended to make it 4, meaning 2 males and 2 females. Yeah. That's why here, where it was said that where it reads 3, we must put 4.
Okay.
So now they said the procedure for nomination of candidate for president, vice president, secretary general, and deputy secretary general. The Politburo shall, let me just first put it here. Yeah. The Politburo shall identify up to 3 candidates to each of the above mentioned position by show of hands. It means when we elect the president or the top 4, we shall identify the candidate in the Politburo by a show of hands. And up to 4 additional candidates per position may be identified at a meeting of the Politburo. So it means the Politburo identify 4 candidates, and then those names, then they have to, if there are more than 4, they have to conduct secret ballot. They have to transform themselves into an electoral college to a secret ballot, get up 4. Then the same names must be sent to the Central Committee. The Central Committee must identify or can add, but at the end there must be 2 male, 2 female, and those names will be presented to the extraordinary Congress or to the Congress. This was not done.
So there ought to have been those candidates going into this weekend's extraordinary Congress, and they battle it out. What happens in the...
And then, you see, here in this also it said, I'm not going to read the whole, I'm just going to explain.
Yes.
This one said, for every position in Swapo has to be elected for. There is no automatic promotion either in this document and here. Okay. For instance, here they said, let me just come to the...
Well, while you look for that, we will go for a short break, and then we'll continue exactly
what we
are doing right now. We'll be back with Jerry Ekandjo. We continue with Jerry Ekandjo here on the evening review. Yeah, Jerry, you were looking for a particular passage.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
They said general principles.
Yeah.
It is now page 10, rule 12.
Yeah.
Page 10, rule 12 of the Swapo Party Rules and Procedure document.
Yeah.
No position shall be filled by automatic promotion, acclamation, or confirmation unless only one candidate is nominated for the post.
Yeah.
Unless only one candidate is nominated, meaning all candidates to the position of president, vice president, general secretary, or deputy shall be required to be nominated and seconded for. It's Rule 16. Meaning that anyone standing for any position, you must be nominated and seconded for. Like in the last Congress, when the position of vice president came in the last 2022 Congress, the Congress, the Politburo and also the Central Committee, when it comes, transformed themselves into an election committee. And then the people came in, those who were running the election. They called for nominations. And there were names of Comrade Netumbo, Comrade Sarah, Comrade Shifeta, and also others who were not like myself, and Tomia Alwendo, and also who? Kapofi. These were procedural.
So the rules are the same for whether it's extraordinary Congress?
The same.
Okay.
There is nothing. And then I'll go further. In order, and then candidate duly nominated to the position of president, vice president, secretary general, and deputy secretary shall be motivated and entitled to have election agents who shall be members of the party. Rule 18. In order to be declared duly elected, a candidate to the position of the president, vice president, secretary general, and deputy secretary general shall be required to obtain at least 51 of the votes. So it means you have to be coming to the party, to the party constitution, which is supreme. The party constitution says that, reads that when it comes to the president or office of the president, so the president shall be elected by the Congress.
The candidate now.
The candidate. And then here it said, article of the Swapo Party Constitution, Article 15, that deals with the office of the president of the party, sub-article 9. In the event the president is unable to permanently perform his or her duties or to carry out his or her functions for whatever reason, like in our case, the late president could not, he passed on. An extraordinary Congress shall be called by the Central Committee within 3 months of the vacancy occurring to elect a new president to complete the unexpired term of the former president, unless such vacancy occurs 6 months prior to the ordinary Congress, which means that, like in our case, a vacancy occurred. And if that vacancy occurred and the ordinary Congress, like in our case, was in 2027, in that case, within 3 months, the Central Committee must call an extraordinary Congress to elect the president who will complete the unexpired. Now, in our case, the president passed on last year on the 4th of February. And the next Congress was supposed to take place in 2027. There were still 3.5 years. So in that case, within 3 months, it means before the end of last year, May,
Yeah.
an extraordinary Congress would have taken place. Now,
Yeah.
the president passed on the 4th of February. The Politburo met on the 5th of February, Monday. In that meeting, they decided to call an extraordinary Congress in April 2025, in that meeting. You see, they were arguing, some scholars, no, shall, because it said the Central Committee shall, they said, in that case, an extraordinary Congress shall be called by the Central Committee within 3 months.
Yeah.
They were saying that, no, shall be called, it means the Central Committee, their arguments, the Central Committee must pronounce themselves and take a decision within 3 months. But it can, the extra can be taken anytime, as long as within 3 months they've taken a decision. It is wrong.
Yeah. Do you think
this phrase
yeah.
is aligned with the amended 2014 Republican, the Constitution of the Republic. The Constitution of the Republic just read as this one.
Okay.
The 2014 amended Constitution of the Republic of Namibia. That constitution that make provision for the office of the Vice President.
Yeah.
That's why in 2015 we had a Vice President, comrade late Nikki Yambo. That constitution is aligning them with this. That constitution says, the one of the Republic, if the president dies or is permanently unable to perform, within 3 months, and maybe the president passed on, the one of the Republic, and there are still many years before the president completes his 5-year term, in that case, an election must be called by within 3 months.
Yeah.
Election must be called by the ECN so that a by-election is called to elect the president of the country. It means all the parties must take part to complete the unexpired term. But if the occurrence, let's just say the vacancy occurs within 90 days, the vice president of the country can take charge until the next national and presidential election. So that constitution and this one is also aligning itself with the Electoral Act. That's why in a given constituency, if a councillor leave or pass on, within 3 months, a by-election is held in the constituency to elect a new councillor. So those scholars who argue, they were not part and parcel of this extraordinary Congress that adopted the 2020. So those who were there at the extraordinary Congress that adopted this 2020 amended, their views was that within 3 months.
Do you think, Mr. Ekandjo, that those who are interpreting it the way they did were deliberate, or do you think they genuinely misunderstood?
They were deliberate.
Yeah.
They were not part of it. It is just like those when we drafted the national constitution, where when it comes to the marriage, the right, these are human rights in the Article 3. Article 3 of the national constitution, the Constitution of the Republic of Namibia, Article 3 deals with human rights. That every person shall have the right to do this, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of forming political parties, freedom to do ABC. Every person. But when it comes to marriage, it says men and women shall have the right to form a family. But all the other sub-articles just said, every person shall have the right to do this. Every person shall have the right to do this. But when it comes to marriage, we say men and women. That human right is the one that was given by the UN under 435, the international human right that was adopted by the UN in 1948, also deals with that. It's exactly the same. But when it comes to marriage, it also said men and women shall have the right to do it. Under human right of the national constitution, it said every person shall be, have the right to expression, to do ABC, irrespective of race, color, sex, religious, sex, status in their community. But those people now said, when the international human rights said, irrespective of race, color, sex, they want to say that men must marry. That's how they interpret it.
Yeah.
With sex, it is said, because in the past, like in Namibia, women were downgraded. So sex means if men and women, you work, you get the same pay. Not to say that they must have sex. So that is also the same.
Okay.
The lawyers were not there,
Yeah.
so even they were not there. That's why they interpreted wrongly. The same, those scholars who said this, that shall mean why not will or halt or whatever, they were not part and parcel of that. That is their thinking. So they are wrong.
Okay. So let's assume now, in the case of this coming extraordinary Congress this weekend, so the Central Committee could counter-argue to you to say, look, actually nobody raised their hand. That's why, because we only had Netuma Ndandaitwa who was available for the position of president, the Central Committee had no choice but to go with her. What would you say to that? Because in the absence of contenders, other contenders, what must happen? The party must be led.
Okay, let me come to page 17.
17 is there.
Yeah. Election office. They talk of there is an election committee here. They talk of how to conduct the election. There's an election committee. In the case, you see, what normally should happen, there's an election committee here.
Yeah.
When the Central Committee, for instance, when they met, the Politburo, before they went to the Constitution, when they met, let me say the means party members. When they met, the Politburo was supposed to transform itself into a electoral college. And then after that, then they establish an electoral election committee, not themselves.
Yeah.
It's an election committee. It is also put here, election committee. Election committee was the one now to call for the names of the candidate, not themselves. In this case, they never call an election committee. The Politburo never transformed itself, or the Central Committee, into an election committee. They just decided this is the candidate, no contestation. They would have transformed themselves into an election committee, and then they appoint an electoral, what is it? The person who will run the committee. For instance, returning officer means they would have appointed a returning officer, and the returning officer was the one, and his members was the one now to call for nomination. This was not done.
And in the absence
and the reason of that, they were afraid. The bottom line is they were afraid if they follow the procedure and then they transform themselves into an election committee, and then they appoint the election committee, consist of 2, 3, or 4 people. Those were running the 2020. Because even when they elected last year, they had people who were counting, not they themselves. They were afraid, I'm told. They were afraid that if they do this, somebody win, for instance. If they call an election committee, okay, because the position is vacant, you cannot endorse a person in a position he or she does not occupy. Never. Even in any institutions, if you are a deputy director and the position of the director is vacant, you cannot endorse a deputy director into a position he or she never occupied. But if the position, if the director is there and the director is on contract of 5 years, he or she occupy this, and the 5 years expire, the board can endorse that particular director for another 5 years because he is already occupying that position.
If you were acting now in that position.
Yeah, listen,
Yeah.
acting, no.
No,
Acting,
no, I'm saying the deputy director now, how does he reach the director's position?
otherwise you apply.
Yeah.
You apply and you go to, you apply and you go for interview and you succeed and you occupy it.
Okay.
So the same here, the argument here, they said, there was an argument in the newspapers. They say the endorsement, this is illegal, there is no endorsement. You cannot endorse, but if the position of the VP is to be contested, the incumbent can be endorsed because he or she is already in that position.
Yeah.
But not in a position you are not there. There were arguments, some people were saying, okay, this is the norm, it was done already. They said, President Nuyoma endorsed Pohamba. President Pohamba endorsed late Kenkop. No, it is not. It is not.
Please explain.
President Pohamba was never, ever endorsed by late President Nuyoma. Sorry, I'm saying late now.
Yes.
You see, what happened in the Politburo, I was a member by that.
2004.
Yeah, 2004. What happened? We met. The Politburo met. When we came now, because it was a week or a few days before the ordinary Congress, the Politburo met. And then, when the Politburo met...
Is it Politburo Central Committee?
No, Politburo first.
Okay.
Politburo met. And then President Nuyoma nominated President Pohamba. That now since we are going to the Congress, we have to elect, I nominate President Pohamba. And then seconded, it was asked, any secondment? And many people raise their hand. Counter proposal, further nomination. Yesa Nyamu nominated late Hidipo Hamtenya. He was seconded for the president Swapo, and Hidipo stood up and said, I withdraw. So the result was President Pohamba was alone for the position of the president of Swapo. So those who say that President Nuyoma nominated Pohamba, never ever.
So how did the Hidipo end up contesting in that?
No, that one, the other one, this Nahas was the president of the Republic. This one is the president of the Swapo party.
Okay.
They are two different.
Okay.
That one, Pohamba, late Hidipo, Nahas, they were contesting for the presidency of the country.
Yeah,
and that time, Nuyoma was a president, Pohamba was a vice president. Okay. And that one, we also had an extraordinary Congress, we had an extraordinary electoral college also, where we know because Nuyoma have to step down after 3 terms. Yeah. That is something else. So from there, we went now to the Central Committee. It was the same.
Yeah.
Only Pohamba. And then, yeah, in the Central Committee, now President Pohamba was nominated. This is a candidate was nominated and unopposed. And in the Central Committee, in the Congress now, Pohamba was unopposed, was nominated.
So that is the Central, the Congress is off on the ground now.
Yeah,
on the floor.
Yeah, it was also on the floor.
Okay.
Even there was a time when I nominated in the Congress from the floor. There was a Congress, extraordinary Congress, where I nominated up to the term of Nuyoma, candidates were nominated from the floor.
Okay.
Up to the term of Nuyoma, candidates were, because there was a time I also, in the ordinary Congress, I nominated Nuyoma for the position of the Swapo party.
Okay.
And then I think it's Damasep or anybody, somebody, either Damasep or, but one was a returning officer.
Yeah.
Counter nomination was called none. And Nuyoma was. And then I also nominated President Pohamba for vice presidency.
Yeah.
And further nomination was called there was none. And I nominated Shijange for the Secretary General from the floor.
Yeah.
And I also nominated late Pandeni for the Deputy Secretary General. All four, I nominated them from the floor. So during the time of Nuyoma, we were nominating from
the floor.
Only the time of they were, yeah. Then the last, when now, so Pohamba was never endorsed because in the Congress, Nuyoma nominated also Pohamba.
Okay.
And Comrade Pendukeni nominated Hake for vice president. And late Hake nominated Pendukeni for secretary general. And I nominated President Bumba for deputy secretary general. Also in the
and the Hage thing that this idea that Hage was also nominated in the same way.
Hake was never nominated. Myself and Nahas who contested him.
Or endorsed, rather.
He was not endorsed.
Yeah.
Me and Nahas contested.
In towards 2017 now, you mean? Because the argument is that President Pohamba in 2015, when he stepped down abruptly.
Yeah, it's not. Let me come.
He just said,
yeah. What
happened?
Your
leader.
What happened? President Pohamba was elected at the Congress of 2012 as the president of Swapo. 2012.
Yes.
And he was to step down beginning of 2015 because his term as a second term ends 2015. But 2012, he was elected as President Swapo and he was to serve until 2017.
Yes.
Until 2017. 2013, we met Central Committee in Ongwediba. There, President Pohamba indicated that since he is still the president of Swapo up to 2017, but he will step down as the president of Swapo. He as the president of the Republic, 2015, beginning May, 20 May. So if he stepped down, he will still remain president of Swapo up to 2017, and Hake from 2015 is a president of the Republic, while still a vice president up to 2017.
Yes.
Now he wants to hand over the presidency. In that, some members, senior members, were telling him, no, you cannot hand over. The Swapo presidency is not inheritable, cannot be handed over. According to the Swapo constitution and all this, you must have obtained 51 votes to be a president of the Swapo party. You cannot. Yeah. But he persisted. And to our surprise, at the public rally in Oshakati, he handed over the presidency of the Swapo party to late President Hage Geingob. He gave him the Swapo flag in public, the constitution and the hammer, which was unconstitutional. So, since then, there are those who said, okay, see, Hake should be acting president.
Yes.
And there were those who said he is a full president, which is wrong. That is the way this push and pull started.
I hear you. Yeah. So let's do this in conclusion.
So it was, Hake was not. That's why Hake was acting president.
Yeah.
Not full president. He was still acting president because he was a vice president until 2017.
I know.
2017, Myself and Nahas, we contested also.
Yeah.
So Hake was never endorsed.
I understand. So there are similarities a little bit, but at least in this case, Netumani Nandi-Ndaitwah remained vice president. She is still vice president as we sit here. And there is now this endorsement that the Central Committee pronounced itself that she will go into this weekend's Congress, extraordinary Congress, as the sole candidate endorsed by the Central Committee. And you are saying the only issue here, from what I'm reading, from what you're saying, is that there was no platform opened up according to the Constitution where an election, a returning officer is nominated, where the platform turns itself into an electoral committee of some sort, and where that process and calling people to nominate and second, that didn't take place. And that is your bone of contention, and not necessarily that Netumah doesn't have a contestant against
No,
her.
what I mean,
Yeah.
first of all, endorsement is unconstitutional. It's a violation of the Swapo party. Here it is clear that there is no, I think I read it, where it said, acclamation, no position shall be filled by automatic promotion. That is what they want to do now.
But
Acclamation or confirmation, unless there is only one candidate. So,
But that is what they are going to say.
Election was not called, whether in the Politburo or the Central Committee. No election was called.
Yeah.
There was no, they never transformed themselves into an election in the Electoral College to elect a candidate or VP or whatever. This was not done. Because I said they were afraid. They were afraid. I'm up to date. They were afraid that if they do this,
somebody may
because
be
at the end,
surprises.
there will be 2 late, 2 female, 2 male. And one of the 3 win. What will happen to this one who's now going to the VP? What will happen?
Yeah.
So because of that, to avoid, they decided to do illegal things, violation of the party, to say, let us not. Understand?
Yeah.
All these were not done. Understand? And also here, it said, here, if they had done it, suppose, it said, candidates nominated to all posts shall be afforded time to campaign prior to the election, like what they did last time with the 3, when Comrade Netumbo, Comrade Sarah, Shifeta were running around the country. So the candidate must be. That's why my coming here is a message to the delegates now. Message to the delegates who are coming for this so-called extraordinary Congress. I'm saying so-called because this was called, and they are not following the Constitution.
Yeah.
Ne? They are not following the Constitution. The extraordinary Congress was supposed to be held last year before May.
Yeah.
Ne? Last year before May. Then is a message to the members of the Central Committee and also the delegates, because when President Hake passed on the 4th of May,
4th of February.
4th of February, the Monday, the following day, the Politburo met. And they discussed now this, and they were afraid, let us not call. Let us just postpone it. Let us just say shall mean as long as we express ourselves, which is not true. And it must be held in April 2025. Tuesday, I went myself to the Secretary General's office. Tuesday the 6th. I told the Secretary General, because I heard that they met, and I said, Comrade Secretary General, this Constitution said, I read it for her. It was in February, on the 6th, last year, that once the office is vacant, within 3 months, it must be called.
And she said?
I talked to her.
What did she say?
And she just said, but we met yesterday. Only that she just expressed it, but now we met yesterday. But he tell me what?
Yeah.
But I had already.
Absolutely. You had something in conclusion to say to the delegates.
So that's why I told her. And since then, I'm saying this because one may say, why don't I go and tell them? I was there myself.
Yeah.
So they know. I was there myself. So my message now to the members of the Central Committee and to the delegates, they must not further violate the Swapo party constitution.
Yeah.
You see, I am saying this because the continued violation of the Swapo party since 2017 has led that whenever we go to election, Swapo is only going down. When we were in the leadership, that time President Nyoma was a leader and also President Pohamba. That time we were all part of the Central Committee. Swapo never went down. Every time, with every election, we gained 2/3 and it was up, up, up. But from 2017, with the start of the slate politics, Swapo started going down.
But that is
my seriousness.
That is not really due to the internal politics of Swapo. I mean, if somebody in Kachinakachi or Kahau feel that the government is not delivering services, they couldn't care less about
you see,
the slate politics.
Yeah, one can say it, the government is not, is because of services.
Yeah.
But if you analyze all these elections, in what area do Swapo lose votes?
Yeah.
All these elections, Swapo lose votes in areas where there are more than 100% services. Windhoek proper, be it Windhoek East, Windhoek West, we lose. Walvis Bay, but in areas where there are no services, like these squatters and other, that is where we get vote up to now. Now, if you said because of services, you could have expected that those people who don't have services, they don't vote for Swapo.
No, but by services, I didn't mean just water and electricity. I just meant that voters have become a bit more conscious. They are no longer voting on...
Voters have become conscious, and also voters of Swapo members have become conscious and don't vote.
Yeah.
Swapo members. It is serious. Let me just come to the current, this 21st. The 20th, the new parliament will be sworn in.
Yes.
I think there are plus minus 12 standing committees in the parliament. This time, we have got 51 seats. And the opposition has got 45. 51, the opposition has got 45. We are only 6 seats more than them. Now, and the simple majority is 49. So every bill, every decision, every vote, anything coming from the executive, bill or motion or whatever, coming to parliament, for it to pass, to be voted and be implemented, it requires 49 seats. We are 51. When it comes to voting, the speaker doesn't vote. So we are 50. So if we are just 2 members absent, we are 48. Nothing will happen. You see the seriousness? Meaning that every time Swapo must ensure that all 50 must be there. But if you check now, Swapo benches is empty. Then we have got 12 standing committees. Standing committees, ministers, deputy ministers are not member of the standing committees. Now of the 50, even deputy speaker and speaker, they are not members. So Swapo is 49. Now how are you going to do?
I understand.
49. If you take ministers and deputy, how many will be there?
I understand the
Yeah.
complication.
You see, all this is because the violation. It's not to say that because of that. It's a violation. Many youngsters, many people are educated. Many people or Swapo members, they are intellectuals, they are graduates, they read the Constitution,
Yeah.
and they read the
rules and
yeah.
procedures.
The ordinary person vote because they don't see the violation of the party.
Okay. The final
That
question.
contributed also.
Final question, very, very briefly, Tati Jerry.
Yeah.
I know that you mentioned this in the very beginning, but I just want you to place it on record that all these things that you are raising, because every time you say something, there are people who already say, oh, it's Jerry again. Oh, he's bitter. Oh, he wants to surprise. He wish it was him. For the record, do you still have any ambitions for politics in Swapo? You still want to become president of the party?
I put it this way.
And all those things.
I put it at the beginning.
Yeah.
That I put it that media houses,
Yeah.
electronic or otherwise, and these so-called political analysts, all along, if somebody of any political party, be it Swapo party or any other party, if that somebody is just said, our party, you are doing wrong, this, then they say this person is bitter, he wants. That is also what you want to say.
Yeah, no.
By this,
yes.
You are discouraging those people who see that something is wrong. They want to pinpoint, but if they pinpoint, then they said you pinpoint because you want a position.
Yeah.
You see?
No.
I am saying this because we suffer, people died, people went to prison because of the question of Swapo. Yeah. And we are defending it up to the last. Yeah? Whether I'm in a leadership position or not, as long as we are alive and still members of Swapo, we will never allow Swapo to disintegrate in our lifetime.
Yeah.
We don't want Swapo to disintegrate like UNIP died with Kaunda. We don't want it in our lifetime. Ne? So that's why I said some media houses, some political analysts, if somebody say about our party, this is. Here, I said, I read it here. Yeah. I read it for you.
Yeah, you did, where you said that.
That article,
obligations
they say it is a right of every member of the Swapo party to defend the Constitution and also self-criticism with a view to save the party. It is allowed here. Absolutely. And that is what I'm doing.
No, I'm very clear. No, for me, I'm very clear.
So that's why I said my message to the delegates to this coming extraordinary Congress, they must ask, why didn't you follow the license? So you may find that there in the Congress, the returning officer will run and say, listen, now in order to shortcut, any nomination from the Central Committee, this is the candidate. Any further nomination? You cannot ask there because those candidates to be nominated according to these rules and procedures must be given enough time to campaign. If a person is nominated from the floor there, are they going to adjourn for 3 months to allow the campaign? Yeah. And also another thing, which is illegal, ultra illegal violation of the Swapo party, the freezing of the post.
Yeah.
Why are they afraid of the freezing of the post? You see?
We've run out of time, but briefly, cover it up quickly.
Cover it up.
Yeah.
The freezing of the post is because of the gender balance. In the 2020, the gender balance, the top 4, there are already 2 female and 1 male. And to have a balance, you must just only put 1 male to make it 2-2. They are afraid of it. Because if they say, okay, there must be 2-2. Does it mean that the vice presidency is reserved for a particular male or female? You cannot say this post is for the female, this post is for the female. Understand? Because if they can't do gender balance, meaning that, okay, they will now say, okay, for the position of the vice president, only male, because the female is a president. But female will say, but no, it's unconstitutional. You cannot say, let male contest for the vice president. We also, female, want to contest. Yeah. That's why they decided to freeze it until 2024, 2027. Yeah. It is illegal. It is unconstitutional. The delegates must not, history will put it on the history. What comes around, what goes around, comes around. History will absorb them. They will go down in the history, in the annal of the Swapo history, that the year 2024, 2025, that even 100 years later, the Central Committee and those who attended the Extraordinary Congress in the year 2025 have violated. Let their, let they come out, their conscience be clean, so that they must not come out of the Extraordinary Congress and do the unconstitutional violation of the Swapo party. That's why it's not my appeal. Yeah. It's a strong message. Yeah. They must remember, we never suffer for nothing. Absolutely. They are plan fighters. They are Swapo members who are still, they don't have eyes. They are crippled. They don't have legs, arms because of the struggle. There are people who disappeared. Yeah. So we never suffer for nothing. So absolutely, let them uphold the unity. They talk of unity, disunity. Yeah. Unity only comes once you adhere to the Constitution. Immediately you deviate to create disunity.
Loud and clear. Thank you, Tade Jerry, for making time.
Okay.
That is Jerry Ekandjo, is Swapo stalwart, speaking about the upcoming Swapo Extraordinary Congress, which will run from the 7th to the 9th of March. He says that congregation is not constitutional. Thank you for watching.